It was past midnight. I had work in the morning. I knew I should have been asleep. And instead, I was 3 hours deep into a GitHub search that started with one completely unrelated tab. I don't even remember what I was originally looking for. Some dependency issue, probably. But you know how it goes. One repo links to another. That one's got a related projects section. And 40 minutes later, you're somewhere you never intended to end up. Where I ended up was a rabbit hole of Android security tooling. Real tools, the kind professional penetration testers and bug bounty hunters use on actual engagements, not some watered-down hacking simulator app from the Play Store. Stuff that can decompile any app on your phone in seconds, manipulate apps while they're actually running, bypass security checks that developers specifically built to stop people from doing exactly that. By 2 a.m., I had 5 of them installed and running. This video is for educational purposes only. None of the tools featured in this video have sponsored or paid for this content. Always use these tools responsibly, and only where you have proper authorization. The first tab I had open, and the one that kicked everything else off, was JADX. Here's what it does and why it matters. Every Android app, every APK, ships as compiled bytecode that isn't really meant to be read by a human. JADX reverses that. It decompiles an APK and reconstructs something extremely close to the original Java source. Readable code, real variable and method names where they survive. The actual logic behind whatever the app is doing, instead of a wall of machine-level instructions. I pulled an app off my own phone. Nothing exciting, just something I'd installed and forgotten about, and ran it through CJAD. A minute later, I had a full source tree I could actually browse and read, almost like opening the project in an IDE. Permissions the app requested, and why. Hard-coded strings. The real logic sitting behind buttons I'd tapped 100 times without ever thinking about what they were doing underneath. That's the moment that got me, honestly. Has a clean interface, too. You're not stuck staring at a terminal the entire time, which makes it the most approachable starting point on this entire list. Every app on your phone is something you can open up and actually read if you know how. Tool number 2, Drozer. Once I'd read through that source tree, the obvious next question was, does any of this actually matter? Can any of it be reached from outside the app? That's exactly the gap Drozer is built to test. Android apps declare components in their manifest. Activities, content providers, broadcast receivers, services. And some of those get marked as exported, meaning other apps on the device can actually talk to them directly. Sometimes that's intentional. Often, it's a default nobody thought twice about. Drozer installs as an agent on the device. You connect to it from a console, and from there, you can probe every one of those exported components yourself, the same way a malicious app sitting right next to it could. I ran it against the same app I'd just decompiled, mostly out of curiosity. Watching a content provider respond to a query it should never have answered, just because nobody locked it down, is a different kind of unsettling than reading code on a screen. It's the difference between, this looks risky, and this is actually reachable. Drozer's maintained by WithSecure. It's well documented, and it's exactly the tool that turns, I think this might be exploitable, into, I just proved it. Tool number 3, Frida. This is where things stopped being about one component and started being about the entire app while it's alive. Frida is a dynamic instrumentation toolkit, which is a fairly dry way of describing something that's genuinely wild to watch in action. It lets you inject your own code into a running application and hook into its functions while it's executing, meaning you can watch what an app is actually doing internally in real time, intercept function calls, alter return values, and observe logic that no amount of reading source code is ever going to show you on its own. The setup involves running a Frida server on a rooted device, or a patched version of the target app on a non-rooted one, and controlling it from a script on your computer. Written out like that, it sounds complicated, and the first time through, it kind of is. But once it's running, you've basically got X-ray vision into an app's behavior while it's operating, not just sitting there as a file waiting to be read. This is the tool security researchers reach for when an app is doing something suspicious, and static analysis alone can't explain why. It's also what people use to test whether security checks like root detection or certificate validation actually hold up, or whether they're just there for show. It took me longer to get working than anything else that night. It was also the one that, once it worked, made me completely lose track of time. Tool number 4, Kali NetHunter. And this is where the night took a turn I genuinely wasn't expecting. I'd been so deep into analyzing this one app that I'd almost forgotten what was sitting one tab over. Kali NetHunter, Offensive Security's official Android penetration testing platform, the same organization behind Kali Linux itself. Up to that point, everything I'd been doing was about one app. NetHunter is about the entire device. On supported and rooted hardware, it gives you a full Kali Linux chroot environment, USB HID attacks where the phone presents itself as a keyboard to a connected machine, wireless injection on supported chipsets, the Mono Wireless Toolkit for authorized access point testing, and a fully configured Metasploit console sitting in your pocket. That last part is what actually stopped me. I'd spent the whole night going deeper and deeper into a single APK, and here was a tool reminding me that the phone running all of it could, on its own, be the attacking machine in a real engagement, not just a tool for analyzing a target, the platform itself. For security students who don't want to carry a laptop everywhere, or professionals who want a backup environment that fits in a pocket, NetHunter isn't a novelty. It's a real, serious penetration testing environment that happens to run on a phone. Tool number 5. MobSF. And then, somewhere past 2 a.m., I found the one that made me go back and second-guess whether I'd needed all the other tabs open at all. MobSF, Mobile Security Framework, takes a huge piece of what JADX, Drozer, and Frida do separately and folds it into one platform. You feed it an APK, and it runs a full static analysis automatically. Permissions, hard-coded secrets, manifest misconfigurations, exported component warnings, known vulnerable code patterns, certificate details, all generated into a structured report without you touching a single command beyond the initial upload. It also has a dynamic analysis mode, built around the same instrumentation concepts as Frida, that lets you run the app in a controlled environment and watch its network traffic and runtime behavior unfold. It runs as a local web application. You set it up once, usually through Docker, and from then on, it's just a dashboard in your browser. Drop in an APK, get a structured security report back. Same depth as manually running JADX, then Drozer, then digging through Frida output by hand, except automated, organized, and a fraction of the time. I sat there comparing what MobSF flagged automatically against what I'd manually found over the previous couple of hours, and there really wasn't much it missed. It's actively maintained, it shows up in actual penetration testing methodologies rather than just hobbyist lists, and it's the one tool off this entire list I'd tell anyone to start with if they only have time to learn one thing. It just wouldn't have meant nearly as much to me if I hadn't gone through everything else first and understood what it was actually doing underneath. If this was useful, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel. Subscribe if you want to see where the next rabbit hole leads, and let me know in the comments. Have you used any of these 5? And is there a tool from one of your own late-night GitHub sessions that I need to look into next? I'll see you in the next one.